This tutorial is for PowerPoint Project 1. To begin with, go ahead and go to your Canvas account, and we need to download the graphic that is a part of the assignment instructions. To download it, go ahead and click on it once. And when it shows up in your download screen at the bottom, you can go ahead and click on it to open it. You're going to go to the drop-down arrow right underneath your disk and go to Save As. Then change to your student folder. And then go inside your PowerPoint folder. And then we can just make sure this is called boyppt1.bmp. And then click on Save. Alright, now we can go back to PowerPoint. And we're going to begin by choosing a background design for our slideshow. Our instructions tell us to choose the Oriole slide design. To choose a design, you're going to go to the Design tab, and then we have our Themes group. We can click on the More button here, and it gives us a listing of all the available themes on our computer. They should be in alphabetical order, so the Oriole one is the third row down, sixth one over. You'll click on that. Now it does come with an orange theme for the color scheme. If you want to change that, you can go back to the Themes group and there's a Colors button, and you can choose a new family of colors. Now you'll notice that there are 8 different colors within a family, so make sure you choose one that you like all of the colors in. For our first slide, go ahead and click to add your title, and you're going to turn your cap lock on and key in the word PowerPoint. PowerPoint is one word. Then you'll click in the subtitle placeholder, turn your cap lock off, and you're going to key in your first and last name, press enter, and then key in your class period. Now we're ready for our next slide. We can add another slide by going to our Home tab, and we can click on the New Slide button. Then we're going to click in the title placeholder, turn our cap lock on, and key in Why PowerPoint? ? And then we're going to click in the placeholder below to key in some bulleted lists. Now if you notice in our instructions, the bullets on this one are a different bullet style. To change the bullet style, make sure you're on the Home tab, go to the Paragraph group, and then here's our Bullets button. If we click on the drop down, we can choose a different one, and we want the star bullets, and you'll be able to see that that bullet has changed a little bit. When you start typing, it becomes dark and you can see what the bullet really looks like. Okay, we'll key the information for our first bullet, then we press enter. It automatically adds another bullet, and you can go ahead and key the remainder of this slide. Once you're finished keying in the text that goes with slide 2, we're ready to add our next slide. So make sure you're on your Home tab, go to our New Slide button, and click on the top portion of that button, or you can do your keyboard shortcut of Control-M. Click in the heading, turn your cap lock on, and key in the heading. And then click down below, and we're ready to key in our bulleted list. And again, we need to change our bullet style. Once you're finished with slide 3, go ahead and add your fourth slide, which is the same. Go ahead and key in the title and your bulleted list, remembering to change the bullet style if necessary. When you're finished with slide 4, you can take a look at slide 5, and notice slide 5 has a different slide layout. We want to be able to have a bulleted list on the left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side we want to put a graphic. So what we're going to do is come to our Home tab and our Slides group, and we're going to click on the New Slide drop-down. And instead of choosing just a standard title and content that we used before, we're going to choose instead a to-content slide layout. Go ahead and click on that. It adds slide 5, and now we have our title placeholder and 2 content placeholders. Go ahead and key in your title. remembering that needs to be in all caps. And then we're going to click in the left side and put in our bulleted list. Make sure you change your bullet style. Now on the third bullet, we are going to add the word graphics and then a little asterisk, a little star. We are going to kind of create a footnote that goes along with this, although we're just going to do it as a bullet. So for our fourth bullet, we want to press Tab to move over, indent just a little bit. That's called demoting our text. But we want to choose an asterisk for our bullet. To do that, we go up to our bullet drop-down arrow. And instead of choosing one of the bullets that's here, we're going to go to the bullets and numbering option. It opens a new dialog box, and one of the buttons in the bottom right-hand corner says Customize. Go ahead and click on that. And then you want to make sure that your font group is listed as normal text. And on the top row, you should see the asterisk symbol. We're going to click on that and choose OK. And it adds that to our little bulleted list option here. With it selected, go ahead and click on OK. And that bullet changes there in our document, and now we can type in the text that goes with it. In our next pane, instead of clicking to add text, we're going to go down to one of our 6 content options here. Bottom row, middle button is the Clipart button. Go ahead and click on that, and it will open a Clipart pane. And we want to search for a teacher. So key in teacher and then click on go. And the option that we're looking for should be right there at the top. And to choose it, we just click on the picture one time. Now because we clicked on the content, the button inside the content box, our graphics actually replaced the content box. If we inserted it independent of the content box, that placeholder for content would still be there. Now, we want this graphic to take up more space, so we're going to resize it. When you're resizing, you want to be really careful to only use the corner handles. If I grab one of these middle ones and drag, it ends up stretching my graphic. And we don't want to have a stretched graphic, so only do resizing using the corner handles. Okay, and go ahead and make that graphic fill up the area there on the right a little bit better. We don't want it to overlap any of our text. All right, we're ready to add slide number 6, and it is going to be a title and content. So go to that new slide drop down, and on the top row, middle option, choose title and content, and then go ahead and add your next slide. And it looks again like our bullet style needs to be changed. Once you're finished with slide 6, go ahead and add slide 7. Change your bullet style. And then our last slide, slide 8, is going to be a title content layout. Go ahead and add the title. And then to get our little picture of our boy in here, we are going to choose one of our content buttons, but it's going to be the first one on the bottom row, the Insert Picture from File. Go ahead and click on that button. And then you'll go ahead and go to your student folder and into your PowerPoint folder where we loaded that boy PPT1 BMP. Click on the picture and then click on Insert, and he replaces that content placeholder. All right, now we're ready to add our transition and animations to our slideshow. Let's go ahead and go to File and Save As. Be sure you change to your student drive and go into your PowerPoint folder and change the name of this to PowerPoint 1, and then click on Save. All right, the first thing we need to do is add slide transitions with sound to each of our slides. To do that, we're going to start on slide number 1, and then go to your Transitions tab, and we have a whole bunch of transitions that we can add, and we have a More option. And these are grouped into categories. We have subtle, exciting, and then dynamic content. Go ahead and choose one. I'm going to click on this honeycomb one. It does give you a preview. And then we want to add a sound. To add the sound, you go to the timing group, and we have a sound option, and you'll click on the drop down and then you can choose a sound. So I'm going to choose chime, and then if you want to preview it with the sound, you can click on the preview button here in the preview group, and your goal is to make your sound match the length of your effect or your transition. So when I play mine, the sound happens and then the transition comes in. So I need my transition to move faster. So on my timing here, in the duration, I'm going to reduce my duration to about 2.0 seconds, and then I'm going to preview. And it got a little bit closer. I'm going to reduce it to 1.75. And it looks like my transition and my sound end at the same time. So it's very important that your sounds match your transitions and go along with things very well. All right, we're going to add a transition to every slide now. So you can go ahead and click on slide 2, choose a different transition, and choose a sound to go with it. Okay, go ahead and pause the video here and finish adding your transitions to the rest of your slides. After you have your transitions on all slides, your next job is to apply custom animations with sound to our clip art. So let's start with slide number 5. Here's our first clip art. To add an animation, go ahead and click once on the clip art to select it. Then you're going to go up to the Animations tab. And we have an Animations group with a whole bunch of different options. So let's see, for this teacher, I am going to add an entrance to him, and I'm going to have him bounce in. Now, once you have him added, you can go ahead and change that animation by changing the duration, so we can add it, have it go in a little faster. If I want it to just take 1 second, if I preview that, he bounces in really fast. And then if we want to add a sound, we need to go in to our animation pane here. We're going to click on the launcher inside the animation group. And in here we have an effect tab, and here's where our sound can be added. Now we can't preview it until we click on OK. So try to make that sound match the timing, or the timing match the length of your sound. Okay, that's a simple animation with a simple sound added. Now we're going to go to slide 8, and we're going to add a different type of sound. Go ahead and click on your graphic, and the first thing we want to do is add an animation. Let's have this guy appear. I'm going to have him float in. Now some of these, we have this effect option button that's available, and we can change the direction. So I'm going to have him float down, and instead of adding a sound the way we added a sound on a different one, let's go ahead and add a clip art sound. And we can do that by going to the Insert tab, and then click on Clip Art, and make sure your clip art pane is here. And let's type in like a laugh, and then click on Go. Now it's going to give us images and everything unless we limit our search. We can limit it by clicking on the drop down here and take your check mark off of all media types and click on audio only. Then click on Go, and you're going to come up with some audio options. Now you can preview them by clicking on the little drop down on the right hand side and go to Preview. Alright, so that's how we can preview a sound. So you're going to want to go through and find one that you think goes well with our little graphic here. Once you find the sound that you like, you can insert it by just clicking once on the sound itself here in the pane, and it's going to add a speaker. Now we want to change this speaker so that we don't see it when it's playing. So we're going to come to our Audio Tools Playback tab, and we're going to put a check mark that says hide during show. That prevents the speaker from showing. And then we want to time this so that it plays at the same time that our graphic is running its animation. Make sure you're on the Audio Tools Playback, and then in the Audio Options group, we're going to click on the drop down in the Start, where it says Start on Click, and we're going to say Start Automatically. And then in our Animations pane, we're going to tell it to start with Previous. And then if we go to our Animations and Preview, he should laugh while he's coming in. And if we need to change the timing, we can do that. So make sure your sound matches up with the duration of the other. All right, let's go ahead and try adding another animation and sound to our same graphic. And to do that, we're going to make sure our graphic is selected. And let's go back to Animations and then go to Advanced Animation and click on the Add Animation button so it gives us a second one. Let's go down to Emphasis and do something like Spin. For my trigger, I want it to start playing automatically after the previous one. So I'm going to come here to my Animations pane and click on the drop down and tell it to start after Previous. And then I want it to start automatically. So to do that, I'm going to go down into Effect Options and go to the Timing tab. And let's also tell this to repeat until the end of my slide. We're just going to do some crazy stuff. And then let's click on OK. So he's going to keep spinning until I stop my slide. Now I want to add some sound to go with his spin. So I'm going to go back to Insert and go to Clipart again. And let's say that I want him to scream. Okay, that sounds like somebody who's miserable, so I'm going to choose that one. Now it's added on top of my other one. I'm going to close my Clipart pane, so I just have my animation pane here. Go to your Playback tab and tell it to hide that during the show. And we want this one to loop until the end of the slide, or loop until stopped. So we're going to put a check mark there. And then we also want it to change to start automatically. And then here in our animation pane, let's change it to start with Previous. So it should play at the same time that our guy is spinning. Now let's go to our Animations tab and Preview. So he flies in, and then after he's done flying in, he starts spinning, and he's going to scream until I stop my slide. Yes, it's rather annoying, but hopefully you get the idea that you can play a sound over and over again. We can add multiple animations, that type of thing. Now, if we did want to have this only occur for a certain length of time, we can change the duration of our spin here. Go into our timing. And we want this maybe to only repeat 5 times. And so now if we preview, it goes ahead and spins only 5 times, but our sound continues. So we need to fix our sound now. Go into our timing with this one. And instead of repeating until the end of the slide, we're going to say until next click. And it should pair it up with the graphic that it belongs to. All right, so I want you to play around a little bit, be creative, add some fun sounds and transitions to the teacher and to your baby here on this one. Now, the last thing we need to do before you're ready to submit this, we do need to run a spell check. So let's do Control Home to get back to slide 1. And then our spelling is going to be on the Review tab, and we have a spelling button, and it's the same shortcut as all of our other Microsoft programs. You can just press an F7. Make sure you fix any errors that you run into there. We want to save all of our changes, so go ahead and click on the little save icon. We've already named it PowerPoint 1. And then we need to submit this to Canvas.